Here are some crazy history facts you won't learn anywhere else. Cleopatra, the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt, lived closer in time to the moon landing in 1969 than she did to the building of the Great Pyramid of Giza, which was constructed around 2560 B. See Oxford University, the oldest in the United Kingdom and the world's second oldest university, was founded in 1096. That's 56 years before the Aztec Empire's capital, Tenochtitlan, was even established in 1473. In 1666, the Great Fire of London destroyed thousands of buildings, but officially killed fewer than 10 people. Napoleon wasn't short like everyone says he was. He was about 5'6", which was the average height for men of his time. Vikings never wore horned helmets. Those came from 19th century operas based on Viking themes. George Washington didn't have wooden teeth. His dentures were made of ivory and even human teeth. Ketchup was once sold as medicine. In the 1830s, this tomato-based condiment was believed to cure a variety of ailments. The Eiffel Tower was meant to be temporary. It was built for the 1889 World's Fair and was only meant to stand for 20 years. But it proved so popular that it remained a permanent fixture of the Paris skyline. The Leaning Tower of Pisa took nearly 200 years to finish. Construction began in 1173, but it wasn't completed until 1372. The shortest war in history, the Anglo-Zanzibar War, lasted only 38 minutes. It took place in 1896 when Britain went to war with Zanzibar after the Sultan refused to abdicate. The British bombarded the Sultan's palace until he surrendered. Roman concrete gets stronger with age, unlike modern concrete, which tends to weaken over time. The first fax machine was patented in 1843, 4 years before the telephone was invented. Ancient Egyptians used moldy bread to treat infections, centuries before penicillin was discovered. Sharks are older than trees. Sharks appeared in the fossil record 400 million years ago, while trees first appeared about 350 million years ago. Albert Einstein was once offered the presidency of Israel, but he declined. This offer was made in 1952, shortly after Israel became a state. The first alarm clock could only ring at 4 a.m. This was designed so that factory workers would wake up at the same time every day, but it wasn't very useful for anyone else. The Colosseum in Rome was once filled with water for naval battle reenactments. These spectacles were a popular form of entertainment during the Roman Empire. In medieval Europe, animals were sometimes put on trial for crimes. They would be charged with things like witchcraft or the death of a human, and sometimes put to death if found guilty. The guillotine was last used in France in 1977. This was the same year the first Star Wars movie was released. The Olympic Games once awarded medals for art, music, and literature, not just sports. This took place in ancient Greece and was a way to celebrate the cultural achievements of the participating city-states. Ancient Romans used urine to clean clothes. Urine contains ammonia, which has a natural cleaning ability. The first recorded Olympic champion was a cook named Charybdis. He won a foot race at the 776 BC Olympics. The Black Death, also known as the bubonic plague, killed up to 60% of Europe's population. But it also led to higher wages for survivors as there was a shortage of labor. The Great Wall of China is not visible from space with the naked eye. Despite what many people believe, the wall is simply too thin and blends in with its surroundings. The first ever vending machine invented by Hero of Alexandria dispensed holy water. It was called a siphon and was a simple device that used gravity to dispense water. The oldest known recipe is for beer. It dates back to ancient Mesopotamia and was written down on a clay tablet. The original London Bridge is now in Arizona, USA. It was dismantled in the 1800s and then reassembled in Lake Havasu City. Medieval knights often fought snails. This took place in the margins of manuscripts and was a popular pastime for monks and scribes. Historians debate why they fought snails, but it may have been for sport or as a test of their fighting skills. During World War II, Monopoly games were used to smuggle maps and tools to POWs. Players would replace the game's property cards with coded messages or hide small items inside the box. Winston Churchill won a Nobel Prize, but not for peace. He won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1953 for his historical and biographical works and the brilliant oratory in which the interests of high ideals and human dignity came to expression. The word salary comes from salt. Roman soldiers were sometimes paid with salt rather than cash. The longest reigning monarch in history is Louis XIV of France, who ruled for 72 years and 110 days. In ancient Rome, flamingo tongues were considered a delicacy. They were often served up as a special treat in expensive restaurants. In the Victorian era, it was fashionable for people to take photos with their dead relatives. These photos were often displayed in ornate frames and were meant to serve as a memento of the deceased. Before alarm clocks, people called knocker-uppers would go around neighborhoods tapping on people's windows with sticks to wake them up. This was especially common in mining towns where workers needed to get up at a certain time every morning.